man. Are you feeling like giving up? Are you a homemaker who's feeling like giving up? I want you to know that you don't. In today's video, address 3 points as it relates to Galatians 6:9. It says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." So, give a couple minutes here for some people to show up. My live was scheduled for 1 o'clock today, but I rescheduled after church because my husband wanted to take us out for dinner after church. I did leave a message in my community tab. Hopefully you saw it if you trying to make this live, but let's just wait a couple moments here. I am planning on doing my lives at 2 o'clock p.m. Central Time from here on out because I feel like 1 o'clock is kind of crunching it a little bit. My husband actually was the one who suggested that. He said, "Do you think you could make it a little later? Because it's just, if I want to take you out, then 1 o'clock is kind of pushing it." So if you were here at 1 o'clock and you were, hopefully you got my message. I see that somebody is in here. Also, my weekly video is going live tonight at 7 p.m. So stay tuned for that. I think we will get started here. So Galatians 6:9, it says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." But us Christian homemakers, oh my goodness, we can get so weary, can't we? Weary of the laundry, weary of the crying, weary of you name it. I mean, the list just goes on, right? We are so weary. But here scripture is saying, "Let us not grow weary in doing good." Well, why? Because at the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. It says we will reap a harvest. It's not like, well, you'll maybe reap a harvest. No, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. I have 3 points for you here today. The first one is that faithfulness in hidden work matters to God. So those things that you feel like nobody sees it. Your baby wakes up in the middle of the night, you're rocking your baby in the middle of the night. You feel like no one sees it because everyone else in your house is sleeping. Not you, you're up, but you know what? God sees that. The laundry, the folding towels, the sweeping, the mopping, the getting down on your hands and knees and cleaning. God sees it all. Miss it, okay? And that stuff, I mean, it's faithfulness. God does not look at things the way that we look at them. Isaiah 55, 8-9 says that my ways are not your ways. Neither are my thoughts your thoughts. As high as the heavens are above the earth, so are my thoughts not your thoughts, and my ways are not your ways. So we look at that and we're just like, well, this is just business as usual. But God, He does not look at it the way we look at it. I mean, that is faithfulness. Verse 8, Galatians 6:8, the verse right before that says that the person who sows unto the flesh will reap unto the flesh, but the person who sows unto the Spirit will reap this from the Spirit, right? Okay, well, the fruits of the Spirit, okay, let's talk about those. Galatians 5:22-23, we have love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. When you're a homemaker, a biblical homemaker, in the home, and you're doing these things and you're trying to raise your kids, in the ways of the Lord, we're gonna read this that is unto the Spirit when we're Romans 3:23 says, "For all have sinned and fall short." We are not gonna do this. That is not a requirement, though. Obedience is a requirement. Thing that I have just kind of lately in my own walk with the Lord, I am finding myself like, is this enough? Am I doing enough? You know how we can think that those things like, I'm trying my best, but is this enough? Instead of that, we should try to train ourselves to say, no, am I being obedient to God? Because if you're being obedient to God, it doesn't matter if it is enough. Is it enough? That's really kind of like uh, a bad gauge to go by. But Am I being obedient to God? My house may be falling apart, right? But if I'm being obedient to God, it doesn't matter that it's falling apart. I am enough. And so God does not look at things the way we look at them. I mean, faithfulness, are we faithful in planting the seeds? Right? I mean, if we don't plant the seeds, we can be sure that we're not going to reap a harvest. And actually, if we plant, um, unto the flesh, right? Galatians 6:8 just said that, um, unto the flesh, selfishness, fighting, things like that. Um, then we won't reap a good harvest. So it kind of, are we planting seeds, and are we planting the right seeds? Um, but are we even faithful in starting that? Um, Point number 2, the harvest comes in God's timing, not in ours. Galatians 6:9 again, it says, "For at the proper time you will reap a harvest if you do not give up." That time, our time. We want it to be right now. Like we're raising little kids, right? You know, um, but you think about growth, even just like the way our bodies grow and the way our children's bodies grow. It's like it takes time. And actually, when we don't know, that's when it's growing the most. You know, um, in God's time, not in our time. I would just to snap my fingers or do something, and I immediately see results. But God is a God of reality. You reap what you sow. He works in our reality. Works in time. And about time, like over and over again. Like it's so interesting that, when God sent Jesus into a time frame. I mean, Jesus was experiencing time just like we are experiencing time. He came as a child and he grew up, and so time, or reaping that harvest again, is in his time. You will reap a harvest when you do not give up. I mean, the harvest is coming, if we've planted those good seeds, or if we've planted bad seeds, the harvest is coming. But when we plant good seeds, the harvest is coming, but it's in God's time, not in my time. And so that really can take the pressure off of myself, because I'm not the one who's producing it, right? When we plant a garden, we put the seeds in the ground. We maybe water it, when we can, but God is the one who brings the sun and the rain. Um, so we are faithful in planting, and then He's faithful with the rest. Point 3, this is my final point here today. Don't give up. You're raising souls, not just kids. Even think of like the laundry, the dishes, just daily grind, the homeschooling. I'm not saying I don't like homeschooling, but it is not for the faint of heart. I mean, trying to discipline your children, continuing to sit to go to church, to do the things that aren't like natural to us, that take some work. Not all that meets the eye. I'm not just folding clothes. I'm not just washing dishes. This is spiritual. We do against flesh and blood, but against principalities. And where does the world's, like, everything matters like that? Where does it start? It starts in the home. It's the home, mothers, homemaker. I mean, this is not a little thing that we are called to. These are not just little kids, or, they can push our buttons and, all of these things, but these are souls. We're shaping souls for eternity. What other things do we do in the home? I mean, we serve and we love our husband, and we carry ourselves to honor God. Those things are not as they seem. I mean, who knows what we're doing? We're equipping our children, we're blessing our husband, we're leading our heart. This is not a little thing that you are doing. God does not take it lightly. And I'm just here to encourage you today in that don't give up. You are not alone in feeling frazzled, whatever you want to call it, okay? It's like a daily thing. It's the grind that gets us, right? It is our life, but I'm here to encourage you. That's what these Bible studies are. I hope to bless you in this way. that's all I have for you today. Again, my video for this week is going to drop tonight at 7 p.m. Central Time. So I'm hoping that you are blessed by that. Until next time, bye for now.